Under this frequently asked questions video, we're going to be covering Howtek and Aztek drum scanners. Particularly, we'll be covering scanner family information, software support, drum types, and mounting stations, running your drum scanner today with the current Aztek DigiPhotoLab 8, basic operator maintenance and consumables, series-specific concerns, shipping and service, supporting links. At any time, please pause the video, and if we don't particularly go over a topic that you need answered, please contact us at mail@aztek.com. The first Howtek drum scanner was the D4000. This model was made just after 1990, and the Aurora Polaris software was the original Howtek software, which ran on either a parallel dongle or ADB dongle. The drum scanning area is 11 by 10 inches. The next software came about as the Aztek Digital PhotoLab, with the D4000 becoming the 4500 in the family, with the next family being the 6500, 7500, and finally the Grand. The Trident software, which ended in 2001 with a USB dongle. At this point, all the software support became and went under Digital PhotoLab, where the prior software all had 1.52 gigabyte limits. The current Digital PhotoLab at the time has a 4 gigabyte limit. When everything came under one roof at Aztek and the manufacturing and software was all wrapped into one, all the limitations were removed, and suddenly now we had a 96 gigabyte scanner with the Premier with a total return of 100,000 by approximately 96,000 pixels. Moving 3 lines down to drum type and size, we currently are no longer manufacturing D4000 drums. We do, however, have small quantities of 65, 7500, and Grand drums, and are in the process of manufacturing new drums for HR8000s, DPL8000s, Premiers, and the older 4500s. You're welcome to contact us in regards to older mounting stations and parts. However, many of these we're out of, and the current mounting station that we manufacture is the Aztek one highlighted here. Moving back to the timeline above, around 2003, with the Aztek Premier, after 2001-2003, version 7 of the software came out, and version 7 was the last of the parallel dongles, with DPL 7.5 being a USB dongle. All the previous scanner families continued with hardware support through Aztek, with DigiPhotoLab 8 being the current 64-bit Windows solution. Current limitations basically come down to hardware buffering and control. And in the case of the 4000, 4500, this means 2000 DPI and 8x10 film because of memory. There are no limitations. However, there is a big drum limitation of 11 microns at 2500. And on the HR DPL Premier, absolutely no limitations. No matter what scanner you own, you should have a battery backup with voltage regulation, with the scanner plugged into the voltage regulator. Now, the scanners use approximately 350 watts, and if you have a computer, a monitor, and other peripherals that you want to plug into it, you need to plan accordingly. If your scanner happens to need service, we offer what's called a preventive maintenance service, which takes approximately 7 to 10 working days to accomplish. And before sending your scanner, you should contact us at mail@aztek.com and talk to someone here before shipping it to us. If you have the oldest or the newest of drum scanners from us, you should have your scanner plugged into a voltage regulator. If you're running a 32-bit operating system, we expect Windows XP or newer, an Intel PC, and a Adaptec 2930 or 2940 board. If you're currently running version 7 or an older version of DPL, within those guidelines, you should be able to run DPL 8 just fine. Running DPL 8 under a 64-bit OS, we recommend an Intel PC with Windows 7, 8, or 10, and a 64-bit Adaptec 29160N SCSI board. If or when you purchase DPL 8 from us, we give you the option to purchase a SCSI board from us and cable and everything needed, including a PCI Express adaptation board if needed for the newest of motherboards. It also needs to be mentioned that under DPL 8 you may successfully run a USB to SCSI adapter. So moving now on to how the drum scanners work and the consumables involved with them. On the left side of the carriage is a motor encoder that actually spins the drum. Below the carriage is a motor and control that moves the whole business from left to right in front of the optics box. When you ask for 4 or 5 or 8000 DPI, what you're really telling the scanner to do is stop on this spin and movement to take a sample. Between the really expensive encoder and motor is a sacrificial belt, and this belt should be replaced when it's stretched or cracked, and it's usually every year to 2 years. The next maintenance item is the lubrication of the lead screw, and there's a particular grease that is a synthetic grease with a detergent that should be used that you can buy from us. Now moving back to the drum scanner and the light path, if you look inside the drum, there's a illuminator that faces the optics box. So when your film is spinning on the drum, this light shines through the film and into the optics box itself. Inside the optics box is a aperture wheel which focuses to the grain size of the film like a microscope. Each beam of light is then split into its red, green, blue component to its own channel and PMT, which stands for photomultiplier tube, and these photons of light go to a voltage and then out to an analog digital converter. So seeing this again from inside the optics box, and this is an open optics box, you see the illuminator, the aperture wheel, the light comes through to the splitters and to its own separate PMT, which then again goes out to the analog digital converter. I'd also say that this is probably the most involved area that we work on during a service. The items you need to be aware that you need to replace on your drum are the wear pads, meters, and calibration strip. There are 3 pads located in the inside of the drum, and they need to be replaced when they're flush with the surrounding plastic. There are 2 meters and 1 calibration strip. Be aware, never expose your drums to film cleaner. When putting a drum into a scanner, open and close the carriage physically. Never slam the carriage. Slamming the carriage is going to slam your drum, and you can damage your drum and your carriage. Looking to the left, you'll see this index mark and a pin that's just to the 6 o'clock of that. This is how and where you line up your drum. Now moving to the drum and dropping the drum into the carriage, which is now open, you'll see the corresponding index line on the drum that we line up with that. All we need to do now is close the carriage. Before every scan, the scanner calibrates for voltage, and one of these calibrations is to the bulbs. And there's a film bulb and there's a print bulb. They go to fiber optics that go into the front and through the drum into the optics box. Over time, these bulbs will actually not be able to stay in calibration, and you'll either need to change them, or you could swap the print for the film bulb temporarily until you got a new bulb. To do this, you'll want to hold onto the back of the connector and to the front of the holder and carefully pull the two apart without bending the bulb holder. In the broad strokes, things you should know is in the D4000 4500 series, the focus bomb sight is no longer used. However, the lever that's for that has a shipping and scan mode that you should know about. The manual, DPI enabled, and enabled focuses are in Digital Photo Lab, again making the old focus method obsolete. Adding to the D4000 4500s, there's hundreds of connectors inside the scanner that need to be serviced, and usually during preventive maintenance services we go through all of these. To minimize this, you should be storing your scanner somewhere where there's no moisture or extremes in temperature. Moving to the next family and series, the 6500, 7500, and Grand, all those connectors are gone and the board arrangement is mostly vertical, which gets to our next subject, which is the proper method of shipping and boxing your scanner. For instance, in this series, there are 2 shipping bolts with a particular air freight crate. So again, if you're shipping it to us for a service or to a new location, look to your manual for your particular shipping mode. And for one thing, don't just throw it in a box and ship it. We sell most of the original air freight crates, but if you have to make your own crate, just be aware that the crate should have some suspension under it. It should have some inner foam below, side, and top of the scanner, and if your particular scanner needs bolts, make sure to bolt it. So now moving to the last and final family series, the HR, DPL 8000, and Premier. A lot of these scanners come through our doors with hundreds of thousands of scan cycles that they should have come in for service every 3 years, but people run them to failure. There's a thing called crop hop in this series where the plus or minus of the motor encoders come out of calibration. Inside Digital Photo Lab, under File, Preferences, Hardware, there's a reset after each scan which will correct for this. However, this is just a short-term solution and the scanner should come in for preventive maintenance. By any chance, if you're running one of the older unsupported softwares or you'd like to download the original manuals, you can go to our support, Howtek support downloads, to download these. If you have questions in regards to Digital Photo Lab 8, it should be found on our front page or in our product section. If you'd like to purchase a maintenance kit, all the kits for the scanners are on the online store. And if there's something in particular that we haven't covered in this video and you have a question, you can contact us at mail@aztek.com.